Nancy Drew, The Haunting of Castle Malloy. The Haunting of Castle Malloy is the 19th installment in the Nancy Drew point-and-click adventure game series by Her Interactive. The game is available for play on Microsoft Windows platforms. It has an ESRB rating of E for moments of mild violence and peril. Players take on the first-person view of fictional amateur sleuth Nancy Drew and must solve the mystery through interrogation of suspects, solving puzzles, and discovering clues. There are 2 levels of gameplay, Junior and Senior Detective modes, each offering a different difficulty level of puzzles and hints. However, neither of these changes affects the actual plot of the game. The game is loosely based on a book entitled The Bike Tour Mystery 2002. Plot: Nancy Drew travels to Castle Malloy in Ireland to be the maid of honor in her friend Kyler Mallory's wedding. As Nancy drives towards the castle, a ghostly figure darts out in front of her car. The car crashes into a ditch, and Nancy is stuck at the site of a new mystery. Kyler's wedding was supposed to be the biggest event in Baylor since half the castle blew up 60 years ago, but now the groom is missing. Was he snatched by the banshee rumored to haunt the castle, or is this a case of cold feet? It's up to Nancy to find the groom and save this wedding. Development. Characters: Nancy Drew. Nancy is an 18-year-old amateur detective from the fictional town of River Heights in the United States. She is the only playable character in the game, which means the player must solve the mystery from her perspective. Kyler Mallory. Kyler is a stockbroker from London who lived with Nancy's family as an exchange student 4 years ago. She is now engaged to Matt Simmons and is excited to hold her wedding at Castle Malloy. Her grandfather, Edmund Mallory, recently died and named her as his sole beneficiary. He never spoke about his childhood, and Kyler is just now learning about her true family history. She is certain that Matt is playing a prank. Matt Simmons. Matt is a travel and sailing freelance writer for magazines. Known for his dry wit, he loves to play pranks on others. He's marrying Kyler and wants to make the occasion something no one will ever forget, but has he gone too far this time? Kit Foley. Matt's best friend and accomplice on sailing trips. Kit was born in the U.S., but his family moved to London when Kit was young. He was never able to pick up the British accent. He currently works as a land developer, and he arrived early to help Matt and Kyler prepare for their wedding. He believes that Matt got cold feet and ran away, but he won't admit that to Kyler. Donald Delaney. Castle Malloy's ever-present caretaker. Donald has been overseeing the grounds for too many years to count. This Irish-born gentleman isn't particularly fond of foreigners, and he's the first to admit it. He is the resident expert on Irish mythology and lore, which might explain his superstitious nature. He believes that Matt was kidnapped by fairies. Cast: Nancy Drew. Lanny Minella. Donald Delaney. Evan Mosher. Kyler Mallory. Alicia Dillmore. Kit Foley. Matthew C. Shimkus. Matt Simmons. Peter Dillon. O'Connor. 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 Alan Payne. Daniel Christensen. Ned Nickerson. Scott Carty. S. Marvin. Jennifer Pratt. George Fane. Patty Pomplun. Seamus Jonah Von Spreeken. References equals